Melissa. Hey, Kate.
Hey, Dan.
Hello there. Hi.
How are you?
Good. I'm trying to rename myself. I don't really want that name up.
I know. Do
Every
you
time I-
remember? Do you remember like the first meeting or two? I was Vanessa Macrina at Happy Hearts. I couldn't figure it out. Melissa would be the one to ask if you.
I changed it, but every time I change it, it never saves it.
Yeah,
Um,
like and every time I would log in on this this is my personal one, and then I like look at all my stuff on my Burrow computer. Like every time I would log in again, it would like revert back to the other settings. So. Oh no, computers are stupid.
all day long. I have a quick question. Are we, where are we meeting on Thursday?
The Borough Hall, if that's okay with you, on the side, like on the patio. Hopefully the weather's nice. If not, I haven't even looked that far. If not, we could meet at Happy Hollow or somewhere where you think is.
No, I know, that's fine. I think you said Borough Hall. I just want to double check. And what time do you have a time that's starting? I don't know.
Yes, let me, so far,
I'll write it down.
all we have is 3:15, Lauren Riddle. I can check that.
Oh,
And we'll
that
get,
seemed, I thought there would be more.
and now, well, another one isn't able to make that time, so I'll check with you. And then since then we got a couple more.
Okay, good. Right, you had said.
Yeah.
Okay. So you just send me a text what time and where you want me.
I
I'll
will.
come to Borough Hall.
Yeah,
mind.
yeah, and we'll just do it on the
Just-
side there on the patio outside.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know if you had told me what time and I was.
Yeah, I
um,
wasn't sure, you know, and I honestly, I didn't even look and see if she replied all. I think I asked them to in the email so that you would see it too.
Yeah, I don't think I did that.
So,
I know you have a list of things to do.
yeah, no, but I want to try to keep up with it and,
But let me know. You can let me know however you want and whenever you want, if you wouldn't mind.
okay. And they
Yeah.
started painting the pool today.
I'll just be there. I've been, yeah, every now and then I drive by, I'm like, oh, it's so pretty.
Yeah, it's a crazy, like, I mean, everything has to be just right. The weather has to be just perfect. It has to be dry
Right.
for so long before they paint it. So they started painting the walls because those obviously kind of dry off a little faster than the bottom. So,
Hmm.
so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully they don't run into too many issues.
No, very. I have so many I gotta get off screens.
Yeah, right.
That's all day,
I hear you.
all day.
My eyes started getting all like messed up, and I bought a pair of those blue light glasses, and they kind of helped.
Yeah, I bought those for my kids last spring and
Yeah.
just because they were always on something
Yeah,
and they
then
wear them.
yeah, oh yeah, I wear them in the office all the time, and then but then I was still having problems, and Pat said, try turning the lights off in your office, and I get plenty of light from the outside, so I just sit with my lights off in my office, and it's been great.
Do you know what I bought? I bought coverings for the fluorescent lights in my classroom. So they're
Okay.
magnetic and they magnetize to the trim
like
around the
the trim.
fluorescent light,
Well, I'll have to, maybe I gotta look into that because I
and
definitely,
they take the glare away and they help reduce headaches.
yeah, that'd be nice. Here, we got it.
Yeah, the right spot.
All right, good evening, everybody. We'll get started here in a minute.
Eric, I know Steve Bruner is at his son's baseball game. He just sent me a text and said it just ended. He'll be a few minutes late.
Okay. Dan, did you get any? I'm only seeing myself, Andrea Berger, and Kate Fanning as far as rec board members go. Anybody else? Because we need at least 5 to have a quorum.
The only thing I got was Morgan Welliver. She wasn't able to attend. I apologize for not saying that.
No, that's okay. I'm wondering where everybody else is here.
They're outside enjoying the beautiful weather like you are, Eric.
All right, good. There's okay, Andrea, Sally. Okay, great. Okay, good. We have 5. Okay, great. All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the April Rec Board meeting.
Hi there.
We'll call the meeting to order. First thing we'll do is a roll call. I'll just go off the list. If you can just let us know you're here when I read your name. So we have Melissa Miller, who's running the meeting. Dan Macrina,
Here.
who's our rec director. Michelle Bear from the borough. Sally Donato,
Hi there.
Mr. Jadick,
Yes.
Andrea Berger,
Here?
Angela Dewan,
Here. Kate
Fanning,
Here?
Jen Raymer.
Here.
Okay. Jody Menon,
Yeah, I'm here.
and then Shaner Paisley.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. And Tyler Mills.
Yep. Here.
Okay. All right, I believe that's everybody on the list. Okay, is there any public comment? All public comments related to the subject matter, jurisdiction of the Borough Council Committee or Board conducting the virtual public meeting and shall be limited to matters of public concern, official action or deliberations that are or may come before the Borough Council Committee or Board. Any public comment?
No.
Okay, not hearing any, we'll get into our March meeting minutes. Is there any additions or corrections to the March minutes?
No.
Okay, not hearing any, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes. Anyone want to make that motion?
I motion
can
to
make a
accept the
motion.
minutes of March.
All right, Kate made the motion, seconded by, is
I
that
can make it.
Sal? Okay, thank you. Anyone opposed to the approving the minutes? All right, motion carries. That'll take us to our financial report. And Dan, is there anything you want to point out on the financial report?
No, and I kind of like always, it's there's nothing unexpected. I think like I've said in the last meeting, we're going to start to see an uptick in expenses for the pool and playgrounds. And I think you can kind of already see that there. But if anybody has any questions, or for now, or for this in the future, let me know. But like I said, we're going to start to see pretty steady increase in supplies and for the playground and labor. But that's pretty much it.
Okay, any questions on the financial report? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept the financial report.
I make a motion to accept the financial report.
Made by Kate. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
And who was that?
Andrea Berger.
Okay, Andrea, thank you. seconded by Andrea. Anyone opposed to the financial report? Okay, the motion carries. And Dan, I guess before you get into your rec director's report, did you, did you and Michelle want to just
Sure.
talk a little bit about your involvement and what your roles are at the borough for?
Sure. If you want to, yeah, I wasn't sure where you wanted to do that. That's fine. Michelle and I actually had a meeting with Kate, to discuss some tool things. And she brought up a really good point to us. She said, that when I was promoted into my position and Michelle into her position, there wasn't really any formal acknowledgement of that. I think, for a lot of you guys, you may or may not have known, very much about us, kind of about our backgrounds and, our roles at the borough, both now and what we were doing before. So we thought, that was a really excellent idea, kind of for us just to just briefly reintroduce ourselves. So with that, I'll start first. I started with the borough in 2006. I started in the borough's tree department, where I worked for about 13 and a half years. I'm going on year 14 or 15, 14, I think it is. So I worked in the borough's tree department. Like I said, I worked there until December, when I got promoted into this position, in my current position. I saw that Rob Lewis was eventually going to be leaving. I was working with him, became, good friends with him, and, kind of started saying, hey, this is something that I've kind of always been interested in. How do I go about learning more about this? And he said, well, you start taking classes, you get your CPRP, which is your Certified Park and Recreation Professional certification, which I did. And that kind of set the path for me to be where I am now. I do live in the borough. I live here with my wife and my two girls. Lived here pretty much my whole life. I graduated from YMSing, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen us around. We go to pretty much every recreation event. I'll really go to every recreation event now as kind of a requirement of the job. So I enjoy everything that you guys have done. I've said that in the past. I think you guys have done a wonderful job. I'm kind of excited to keep going, keep on with what's been done already, and, build on what we're doing, try to make it better and better every time. So that's me. If anybody has any questions, or at any time, ask me during a meeting, call, text me, email, whatever. I'm always glad to answer those questions. So, it's with that, I'll pass it over to Michelle.
Thanks, Dan. I've worked for the borough since 2008. My background, I started out as the assistant to the zoning officer at the time. I was brought in to get the rental inspection program up and off the ground, and to make 12 and a half years that flew by. To sum that up in, a short, sweet little clip, I started answering the questions no one else seemed to want to answer or know the answer to about borough code in general, and just kind of found a lot out, and also became the point person for any commercial property owner that wanted to do something with their property. The first thing you're asking is, what will zoning allow me to do? So over the years, I naturally form relationships with business owners, developers, hence the economic development coordinator, part of my title. Last year around this time, in talking things over with Pat, there was, I don't know that need is the right word, but the desire on my part to learn more about the management side of things, talked things over with, him, with the personnel committee about stepping into the assistant borough manager role, and was very excited in October when I got promoted. What was more exciting to me, because I did not pick which department got put underneath me, was that Parks and Rec was what I would be in charge of overseeing, as well as administrative staff. I am a huge outdoors person. I mountain bike, I gravel bike, I road bike, I run ultras. My husband and I do, through hiking. Last summer, we through hiked the Loyalsock Trail at World's End. We have an RV and we like to go to all the different Pennsylvania state parks. We actually have the Pennsylvania State Park passport that as you visit every state park, you check off the box, you send the information into the state, and you actually get little dog tags to recognize what you did and where you went. So we are huge, what we call adventure time people. We believe in, recreation being a natural part of stress relief. From an economic development standpoint, I've studied places like Sedona and Bentonville and Ithaca, and places that have natural recreation that they can offer to the community, that not only is a benefit to the residents, but is also an economic development draw. So, that's something moving forward. I'm a member of BAMBA. I'm a member of the Pagoda Pacers. Anything the borough can do individually, but also collectively, to put Berks County on the map for parks and recreation events. I've, helped stock the trout rodeo in the past. That's always one of my favorite days at work, long before I came into this position, going to get to put the fish into the creek. That's just exciting to me. I'm a fisher person too. So, Dan and I have both a ton of ideas of things we think we can do more cost effectively, that we can do better, new ideas of things we haven't done, partnerships that we can hopefully enter with different organizations, entities, businesses, to take everything that you all have been doing, which we owe you a huge debt of gratitude, because you're obviously all unpaid volunteers, and hopefully with your input and guidance, take that to the next level and make everything we're offering now bigger, better, and more, what's the word I'm looking for? Just more readily available to the community as a whole. So like Dan said, we're both here anytime you have questions, input, have an idea you want to bounce off us that you think might be great, don't hesitate to call or reach out.
Great, thanks, Michelle. And while we're at it, just going through the participants on this call, there's almost everybody here has been, attending the last several meetings. There's two people, is that Shaner Paisley and Tyler Mills. I don't know if you two want to just let us know who you are briefly. Shaner, you want to go first? You might have to unmute yourself if you're still listening.
I can go first if they're not ready.
Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Tyler Mills. I'm actually studying at Penn State Berks right now, and so I'm just here like observing for a class that I'm in, just to see how these meetings are run and everything.
Okay, welcome.
So, thank you for letting me join.
Sure thing. All right. And is that Shane? If you okay, but I think people know of you, Shane. So I guess we'll just keep moving here. So Dan, would you want to get into your park and rec director's report?
Yes, sir.
Hey guys, sorry about that. I stepped away there for 2 seconds. Yeah, my name's Shane Paisley. I'm a resident at 15 Upland Road, and I'm running for Borough Council on this year's ticket. So, hi, good to be here. The guys are all doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shane.
All right, Dan.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so as you guys can see, the spring newsletter actually is out. Looks good. Kudos to Melissa. She is like the backbone of that, of the newsletter and the rec guide. I mean, I just send her information and she's done an amazing job, with that. So good work to Melissa. We are We had a lot of issues. We had a lot of issues with the MyRec software. They had some personnel issues. It was supposed to be, pool registration was supposed to be live a lot sooner than it was, but it is now. We're virtually having no issues. We have some things here and there. People are calling or emailing about where between myself, Melissa, and Lisa, the secretary at the office, we're getting them taken care of. So, and people seem to be pretty happy about that. Pool and playground process, opening processes continue. The pool is actually acid washed, and they started with they started on the first coat of paint today. It's going to get 2 coats of paint, which is needed. The playground mulch was a little bit delayed, but that should should be done hopefully tomorrow or later this week. So I apologize for putting that. It was done. Most of it was done. So playgrounds are looking great. Planning continues on our programs and services. We did secure a contract with the Buccaneer Association for the Memorial Day ceremony, as well as the high school has agreed to, the high school band rather has agreed to participate with that event. And thanks to Natalie for lining that up. The borough's Earth Day cleanup celebration is this Saturday. And thanks to our trash and recycling haulers, Mascaro and Advance, they're donating virtually all the supplies for that. So, and again, the borough, the budget and financial report are attached, and there didn't seem to be any kind of unusual expenses. Community and public relations, pretty much none. Just kind of continuing what we're doing. So that would be my director's report. Any questions?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I was just wondering, did you get a lot of volunteers?
For the Earth Day, yeah, it started pretty slow, but yes, I apologize again for letting that out. Yeah, so we have a Boy Scout troop, and I think Kate Fanning is going to be helping out with that. We've got Boy Scouts. We have the school environmental club. I think we have about 10 participants interested in that. And then I've gotten just a handful of kind of small family members, or just single participants. So I think we'll probably have about anywhere from 15 to 30 people, and we may just have people that kind of show up. So we have plenty of materials to go around for the event. So hopefully it should be pretty successful. And we'll have 2 trucks out there, so people can drop the trash bag, drop their full trash bags off in the trucks, and we'll haul them away. So
Thank you. Yeah, I was hoping that you were going to let walk-ups, because I would like to come, but our schedule's a little bit crazy. So if it's okay to do walk-ups.
Sure. No, that's fine. I just wanted, we're going to do like we would with anything else, socially distance. Everybody hopefully will be wearing masks. And just to get an idea of what supplies we have. I think I'm probably kind of overboard with it, but better more than not enough. So yeah, so that should be good.
All right.
I'm excited.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Dan? Okay, thank you, Dan. That takes us to our committee reports. You touched on a few things, Dan, but do we have any other specific reports from committees?
Sure. No, just working with the Memorial Day committee. Anybody that's on that, if you can kind of check your emails periodically, sending out updates and things that we're doing there. I touched on the Earth Day celebrate or cleanup rather, and the fishing rodeo. Also, I'll be sending out an email to some of the I know a couple of you had said they'd like to help out with the day of events and things like that. So fish have been ordered. We're I'm working with both Eli and Peter, who have helped, to my knowledge, pretty much every year for as long as I'm sure all of us can remember. So they're instrumental in that event. We're going to walk the creek for a second time and kind of make sure that we identify safe areas for safe fishing areas for participants. Yeah, so just kind of keep an eye out for that, for an email regarding some things on that as well.
Okay. Very good. And old business. So the first thing under old business is playground program volunteers.
Sure. So playground program registration is going. The last I had checked was a couple days ago. We probably had about 200 registrations at each, or 100 about 100 at each location. I will note that for a while, Wyomissing Hills was actually ahead. And I again, the last time I checked, they were just a handful ahead of Happy Hollow, which again, from what I understand in the past, it's kind of been flip-flop. So that's interesting to see. There's definitely a need for that in the Wyomissing Hills area of the borough. Volunteers, I put that in there because I know that I think we briefly touched on that. I just wanted to get the board's recommendation on that, as far as I don't know. I looked through our minutes. I don't know that we officially made any kind of decision with that, with the volunteer program at the playground. I think with the right, they're going to have to go through almost everything that a hired position is, as far as background checks and, acknowledging our safety procedures. They're going to have to do the same thing, wearing the masks. I think it's a good program. There's been quite a bit of interest with it from kids who are kind of aging out of the playground program. So I would recommend that we continue that program and recommend that to council, just to make sure that we get an approval from them that it's okay. But I just wanted to get the board's thought on that, as far as having the volunteers, because I know you guys did a little bit of work on that in years past with how that played out.
Is there any issue with the number? I know at one point we discussed the number of playground participants and employees, and does the volunteer do anything to make the number unfavorable?
No, actually, okay. Those numbers have, as the last I checked, it's not even worth noting. It's like 67 people per 1,000 square feet.
Okay.
And I don't believe those numbers have changed. So if you look at Happy Hollow, the total square footage of Happy Hollow is 320 something thousand square feet. Now, we're not using all of that. So, we're still going to kind of stick to, as we get closer, we're still going to kind of measure out the usable area and just make sure that we're not really cramming people into the usable area. We're going to make sure everybody's spread out. Our goal is to have at least one staff member per 10 participants. So I think having the volunteers is going to be great to kind of have that, help out with that at least one. I'd like to have 2 staff members or volunteers per 10 participants to make sure everything's being done the way it should be. So.
Go ahead, Kate.
Are we, how are people applying for the job at Playground? How are we doing with that?
Good, very good. I have like eight or so interviews tomorrow.
Great.
I have, I think I lied. I have quite a few interviews tomorrow, so that's doing well. The pool's doing okay. Could pick up a little more with the pool, but they're slowly rolling in.
So Dan, do you need to approve or make a recommendation to council to allow volunteers at the playground program this summer?
I would think, just to be safe, that would be probably be just the best to do.
Okay, does anybody have any other thoughts on that?
Eric, this is Angela. My phone is a little cracky. I'm driving. Can everybody hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
I would ask for volunteers if we just touch base with the heads of playground at each facility. I know in the past I've heard feedback that volunteers are hard to keep track of. Sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't. So we did speak about like a minimum required hours if you are accepted as a volunteer, since we are putting in, you know, some amount of training and you know, some amount of work to, you know, qualify them as volunteers.
Sure.
So that's my input. Even in the past, we even talked about possibly imposing like a fee to be a volunteer, because obviously the idea behind if you pay, you will show up. So if you just speak to Julie Keller about it, I know in the past she's sort of been like, I don't even know who the volunteers are. So if we accept them, I do think that we should, you know, incur some sort of minimum amount of hours required.
Sure.
I like that.
yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Anybody opposed to having a recommendation to council to allow volunteers at the playground this summer?
I'll make the motion that we add volunteers at the playground and recommend that to council.
Thank you, Steve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Kate. Anyone opposed? Okay, we'll make that recommendation to council. Thank you. All right, Dan, next is the pool opening.
Sure, just these are just kind of just to make sure that we again nobody had any questions about that. You know, the pool opening is going well. It looks like we're on track for Memorial Day weekend. We are at this point, I should say, we basically we're talking with Kate. You know, I think we're going to pretty much do everything we did last year with a couple changes. We've made those changes, and you can see them in the newsletter and the rec guide. You know, there's you know, things are going well with that. So I just wanted to kind of just touch on it again in case anybody had any questions about that. But it looks like everything's gonna go well. We were able to increase the total occupancy numbers. We're now at 452. And that's with members and staff. And we're at, I believe it's 200 people in the pool at a time. And hopefully, you know, as this next month or two kind of rolls around, we can change that. You know, we can obviously increase those numbers a little bit. So we'll just kind of see how things go.
Hey, Angela.
Go ahead,
Would you do a brief rundown? I've been getting questions from community members about what exactly the pool rules are. I know it's a reservation system. I know there's no snack bar. I've been asked if food is allowed at all. I've been asked if at 3 o'clock you have to literally empty out. And then can you make 2 reservations in a day? At 3 o'clock, do you empty out and then can you come back in? So I've been asked a lot of questions from people, and if we can have just a quick rundown of the rules.
Sure. And I will note I did make like a Q&A, and some of those,
I saw that.
Sure. Yeah, and some of those questions may or may not be on there, and I put that if you know, some questions arise that I just didn't think of, or we didn't think of, I'll add the kind of questions and answers to those. But yeah, the pool will open at 12 o'clock every day. There will be 2 sessions. You will have to reserve each session. And yeah, Kate, correct me if I'm wrong, you would know with this, you sign up for the, for one, and as well as if there's spots on the other one, you can sign up for that too. I didn't change anything with those requirements. The second session is a little longer, but it's just, we kind of increased the hours of the pool. I know that Kate and her staff is going to do the best that they can on nights that are slow to kind of open up the, kind of put some lap lanes in, you know, when they're able to in the evening. So we did, because of scheduling with swim team this year, with swim lessons, with the swimnastics, we did have to cut out that hour, that at-risk hour. But they, with talking with a couple different people that were involved with that, you know, I was talking to some staff, they all said that pretty much the people that attended that hour were people that were already going to swimnastics or might be involved with swim lessons. So yeah, so it'll be 12 to 3. Everybody will have to get out of the pool. We'll do the disinfecting of the facilities. And then at 3:30, the pool will open back up. If you have a reservation, you're welcome to come on back in at 3:30. There will not be a snack bar at this point, as well as at this point, you will not be able to bring food into the pool. But again, just like with anything, we're constantly monitoring the guidance. So as soon as it lets up, as soon as COVID numbers let up, you know, we can reevaluate that. And, you know, if any of that, if anybody wants to discuss any of that, I'm certainly up for that. I'm just, you know, doing kind of what the guidance says and, you know, what we've decided on as a borough. So.
I don't get the food thing. I don't understand why the rules are with the food bringing in. I never quite understood that. Anyone else know why we do that?
I agree that it's an obstacle. I've been here, you know, when I have my kids at the pool, I'm feeding them nonstop. So I would like to know that as well.
Yeah, I don't know.
I made that same comment, Kate. You know, my favorite part of going to the pool as a kid was going to the snack bar and getting those little lollipop dry things that were like sweet tarts, but on a lollipop. I mean, I know we had kind of briefly discussed this a little bit internally. If the snack bar is not open, I don't see why there would be an issue if people want to bring their own food, as long as, you know, we're able to check it to make sure they're not bringing in like alcoholic beverages or anything like that. And or, you know, we had even mentioned at one point, if people want to order food and have it delivered to the pool, why would that be an issue? As long as they're not sharing. I mean, that was the whole idea behind the snack bar. Everything has to be individually wrapped, prepackaged to be able to serve it. So, you know, as long as people aren't sharing, and Steve, I see your face poking up that I feel like you have something to say, so feel free to interrupt me.
No, you're good.
We have to have that approved to let people bring in their own food.
I think the rec board should definitely make a recommendation if that's what you're in favor of doing.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I'm in favor of it. I just know at some point there was guidance where.
Yeah.
If we weren't allowed to bring in food last year, it's because the CDC said we weren't allowed to bring in food. It's pretty much following the guidelines. If you're a private pool, you can do what you want. If you're a public pool, you got to follow the guidelines.
Right.
Why don't we do this? I mean, when I got questions from the public, just either get a hold of Dan or email Dan, and then he could just add them to the questions and answers list. I mean, otherwise we're just getting them here and there. Why don't we just keep adding to the list, and the more information we get out to the public, the better off we'll be. Because there's a lot of rumors going on out there. I mean, I've heard them already. So, and they're wrong. But at the end of the day, if we get questions from the community, let's email Dan, and Dan will work on them and put them on, add them to the wherever you posted them, Dan. I didn't see it, but wherever you post them.
Yeah, where are they posted?
I believe they're on Facebook. I'm not sure if Melissa was able to put that on the website, but if they're not on there, we'll get them on there. And I have a call. I'm still learning this MyRec program. I'm getting a lot better at it, but I have an email in with the representative from MyRec to get that loaded right on there on the homepage when you go to whymissingrec.com. So that should actually be up this week as well.
So Dan, I have a couple questions about cards and slides. So should we just email you our questions that we've been getting from the pool, like Angela and I, and then you can add them to the frequently asked questions?
Sure.
Because
Yep.
mine's with the slides and the board and say, cards and stuff like that. How the
Well, I
cards.
mean, yeah, that's another thing. I mean, how we can look at the guidance, but yeah, that's another question is what people think about the slides and boards. I mean, again, I'm all for it. I think, I mean,
You're all for opening them up?
yeah, I mean, I that's just me personally. I think that if we needed to, we could I mean, we're spraying some chemical, but there's some safe stuff. There's some things that we could spray that is not going to harm anybody if it gets on their skin, from what I understand. So, I'm just throwing things out there. I think that if we put a policy in that a guard is spraying it down once an hour, once a half, every 30 minutes, whatever it is, if we're able to do that. But
Yeah, we are. We can make that part of a rotation. No
just
problem.
kind of clear the diving well, spray it down, let it sit for a few minutes, and then have
No,
at
that
it.
can be, that can be added into the guard's duties, no problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I just was like, yeah, I didn't know about the board and the slide. I couldn't answer that question.
yeah, I just know it was open. It was closed last year. But I would be super excited to have that open. Absolutely. So.
And
All right.
how are people getting their cards this year?
I believe that's going to be the same way. They'll be able to pick them up at the pool, and we can coordinate that.
All right. Okay, to move on from the pool. Anybody else have anything? All right, that takes us to some of the other summer topics: Memorial Day, 4th of July, and the concerts.
Sure. Memorial Day, kind of again touched on that. Planning continues with that. We're gonna this year the Grand Marshal is gonna be Chris Kegg. He was scheduled for last year, so he's agreed to come back this year. Just kind of gonna focuses on an awesome ceremony that's safe for everybody. We're going to both live stream it and have the ability for people to come in person. Again, as long as they're following the borough's Parks and Recreation reopening guidelines, of wearing masks, socially distanced. So that's that. The 4th of July, working on planning with the planning of the firecracker run, the bike parade, or the bike decorating kind of parade. If we can do that in like school parking lot. I did speak with the school about that a little bit. And then I've also got authorization from council that to start reaching out to participants, past participants that I know of that I have contact information for, just to say, hey, I actually sent that out Monday, yesterday. I sent an email with a letter out to participants and saying, hey, as of right now, we're not having the parade, but if in end of May or June, things get better and council and rec board says, yeah, let's put a parade together. The letter basically said, are you interested? Please respond back. We'll put you on the list. Within not even 5 minutes, I got like 5 emails. So there's definitely an interest. So I have a folder of all the parade participants that are interested, and we'll just kind of keep our fingers crossed and be ready to plan something if we're able to. The concerts, starting to reach out to vendors as well. Letting them know that if numbers don't get better, we may have to cancel, or we may be able to do better, do bigger, as much back to normal as possible. I will have a list probably to you guys soon, if not by the next meeting. I'm still working on getting availability of those bands and musical groups that would normally perform in the beginning of the year. I'm just still kind of waiting to hear back from some of them on their availability for a concert in late July, early August, September time. So as far as concerts, that's all.
We could paint circles at the Stone House, just like at the pool, and say, here you go, here you go, here you go.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's direction I'll take from the board, whether we want to have it at the pool, at the Stone House, wherever, but I'm not sure that we have to really cross that bridge yet. But that's definitely, I like that idea, so. And if you're okay, Eric, I'll just move on to the Make-A-Wish. There's actually, Melissa, there's a graphic on there so you guys can see. So we moved forward with ordering the shade structure part. Oh, you can kind of see that. This is obviously a 3D drawing of what it'll all look like when everything is done. The focus right now is that green and brown shade structure in the bench, and that will bridge the two areas at Happy Hollow, the ages 5 to 12 and the 2 to 5 section. They're actually currently separated. We'll make them one continuous play area by filling that in with mulch, and we'll have that shade structure for now that parents can kind of watch both age groups. And then we're going to be starting a fundraising campaign to purchase that large structure there with the ramp. And that's actually called a sway fund. So that'll be an accessible play structure for children and their families who are in wheelchairs. So we're really excited about it.
Excellent.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. If anybody has any questions about that, I'd be happy to answer them, but pretty self-explanatory there. I'm pretty excited about it. So that should be, we should start to see construction on that midsummer, if everything goes well.
Great. Okay, that takes the new business. What do you have about tennis lessons, Dan?
So tennis lessons, again, under our Parks and Recreation reopening plan, tennis is allowed. So I wanted to get the recommendation. I've already started, lining up the tennis instructors on that, letting them know that I needed to get authorization on that, but I wanted to kind of get ahead of that. If nobody has any arguments against this, I'd like just another recommendation to council to allow tennis lessons, because I think, and I believe, and again, anybody jump in, but I believe that kind of covers everything as far as recreation then.
So Dan, is that like part of the program, like for our youth to have tennis lessons, or is this for different coaches that you can pay $50 an hour to teach your kid?
No. Yeah, right. No, it would be like the kind of in conjunction with the playground program where in years past it was at Happy Hollow, and now we have it at the Borough tennis court. So and I believe that would be youth. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know the age restrictions there, but yeah, again, kind of going on what you guys have done already. So
okay, gotcha. All right, anybody have any thoughts on that? If not, I'll entertain a motion to recommend to council that we allow the tennis I guess we'd call it maybe the tennis program, Dan. I think that's, or is it?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Tennis lessons, I think would be good. Either one.
I'll make a motion to reintroduce the tennis program.
Okay, that's Sally Donato making a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it following CDC guidelines.
Okay. Anyone opposed to tennis lessons? Okay, that motion to recommend to council carries. Very good. All right, last thing on the agenda is a correspondence. Do we have any correspondence, Dan?
I do, and this was came in my bin today, so that's why it's not on the agenda here. We received a donation from the Berks County Community Foundation. It says, "Dear Mr. Brandenburg, encloses a check in the amount of $242 to provide support for park trail maintenance. This grant is from Cranes Hoffman Charitable Fund of Berks County Community Foundation. Please acknowledge this grant in any publications or promotional material as having come from Cranes Hoffman Charitable Fund of Berks County, of the Berks County Community Foundation. And that's signed Heidi A. Williamson, Senior Vice President of Programs and Initiatives. So again, I would, that's awesome. That was unexpected. We will definitely put that to good use in park trail maintenance. As a lot of you guys saw, they did a lot of good positive work on the park trails last year. We want to continue that this year when time permits. So
And what was the dollar amount, Dan?
$242. And that actually, that'll go a long way. They will buy that, like the cinders, and they can get quite a bit of material with that. So it really just comes down to our labor. So I actually let our park staff know about that today, and they were very excited because they really enjoyed doing that project this last summer. So
We need to make a motion to accept the donation.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept the donation.
I make a
Okay.
motion to accept the donation
Made
from
by
community.
Berks Community, okay.
Community.
Made by Kate. Is there a second?
Foundation.
I will.
Steve, seconded by Steve. Okay, anyone opposed to accepting the $242 donation? Okay, motion carries.
Dan, I think once the council accepts it, you should write a letter to the foundation thanking them.
yes, sir, that was going to be my next question. And is everybody okay if, we recognize them where council and, Melissa that handles all that seems fit that we, recognize them in other ways, if possible. Social media or whatever. I mean, I'll go, whatever we're able to do with that.
Sure.
Cool. Other than that, that's it.
Dan,
That's
I wanted to add one thing under new business. Dan and I had a call with Mike Fitzgerald from Fitzy's Run last Friday.
Thank you.
Mike, I'm actually surprised. I thought he was going to pop on the call tonight. He didn't. But one of the things he was asking Dan and I about is some type of partnership with the borough for the Spooky Hollow Fitzy's Run event. Fitzy's actually falls on Halloween this year, and he has many, many years of experience in putting that race on, and just thought if there was a way that we could maybe coordinate both events together to the benefit of both entities, it would really not to. So, what we said to him is that's not our call to make. That's the rec board and council decision to make, but that it would make sense, we'd kind of run it past you with this meeting and give you the very high level view if we had a conversation, and invite him to attend the May rec board meeting to kind of, talk through what his ideas are, things we think we could do together and how it might benefit the both of us. So stay tuned, and just an early heads up, he will be on the agenda for the May meeting to talk through what that might look like for the both of us. Does everybody know what Fitzy's Run and who Mike Fitzgerald is? I'm seeing head shaking yes, so I'll take that. I don't need to give you background information. If you do have any questions, look up Lawrence Foundation or just, Fitzy's 5K Run and Why I'm Missing. There's a ton of information on Facebook and on their website about what he does and why he does it. And, he's one of the few organizers of a 5K that every year turns around and gives the borough a check for roughly $2,500. So, that in and of itself, I think speaks volumes to who he is and what he's doing.
Funny, I'm actually wearing one of their shirts.
I have that same shirt.
But thank you for speaking up on that. That reminded me. I was counting on him being on, being on this, but I know he said he wasn't sure. So.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? All right, I'll entertain a motion to close.
I have a public comment if I can make
Sure.
one. So just revisiting the subject with regard, what's that?
Could you identify yourself, please?
Shane Paisley, resident 15 Upland Road, Wyomissing Hills. With regard to revisiting the subject of the snack bar at the pool, I know that we've heard it multiple times before with regard to the subject of CDC guidelines. Specifically with regard to the snack bar opening, I don't believe the CDC guidelines are finding any sort of scientific evidence that COVID is spreading through aquatic venues. And I'm pretty sure the WHO has gone on record that there's no scientific evidence of it spreading through food or food packaging. The reason I bring this up is just because as we begin to open our pools here in our area, of course, our residents are looking for that experience, and obviously something that is going to be safe, right, is of utmost concern. However, when we consider that other public pools, I mean, even in Bally, Pennsylvania, or Lancaster are opening their pools, and they're going to have open snack bars, I think that perhaps we just might want to revisit our position on that, just so that we can, obviously help people have the summertime experience that they're looking for in a safe manner. And also just from a lost revenue perspective, I'm not necessarily sure what the revenue from the snack bar is. However, I'm sure that if we can provide a good experience and replace that lost revenue and give everybody the summertime pool experience you're looking for, we should be able to do that. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.
I am kind of curious. We did talk one time about serving prepackaged things as a like a minimum. So is that something we want to do? I mean, I know there are kids interested in working the snack bar. Is it the exchange of money that we are, what do we, CDC guidelines say, and for our borough, it's a no deal? I'm not up to on speed.
Well, as far as the exchange of money, actually, that's another thing, but it's actually pretty doable. We can actually, kind of goes along the lines where we're requiring everybody to sign up for a membership, online and not like in paper. So the people that aren't, aren't using computers. Well, we can kind of do a point of sale thing where they have to load money onto their cards. So your scanning card can be kind of used as like a credit card. So you can load money onto that card from a credit card. That's an option. It's just something we've got to get. We would probably have to purchase. That's the only thing. We would probably have to purchase some equipment, some computers, tablets or whatever. It's doable, maybe not this year, but if we are concerned about the exchanging of the money, that could be an issue. If not, it's again, I'm just going off of what guidance we've had in the past. I mean, it's constantly.
I just did a quick Google search on CDC guidelines for pools and snack bars, and I mean, it kind of mimics to a T what Shane said about, there's no evidence of it really being passed through food packaging or food service. I'm not finding anything specific to snack bars. Now, I know the PRPS recommendations did not recommend opening snack bars, but their guidelines seem to be changing too, as do the states every so many weeks. So, I mean, Kate, you're probably the best one to speak from experience of getting the snack bar up and running. What's your lead time?
I feel as if we can open it. It was successfully opened at several other pools last summer, and it was fine. I don't think either pool closed for any cases.
No, I meant more, what's your lead time if we said, yes, you can do the snack bar this year? How much advance notice do you need to actually get it up and running?
That's Donna's.
I do have her on staff. She's on staff right now, so, and would be static.
I don't really go in there. That's Donna.
I can email her, call her tomorrow, and get her rolling. I don't know if we have prepackaged stuff. She has to have Michelle, maybe you would know, the Department of Health certificate. So she still would have to have it. Okay, then she needs to get on it last week.
And Donna runs a tight ship. I believe she can handle it.
Okay.
I can speak well for Donna.
Dan, let's also, you and I talk through some of this, the remainder of this week, actually look further into the CDC recommendations and state regulations, and then we can talk to her.
Yeah, and I mean, if we, maybe if we do go with this, do we have it open Memorial Day? Probably not, but can we have it open within the first week or 2 weeks or something,
Oh,
sure.
Sure,
So, yeah,
I'm down with that.
Look,
thank you
hey,
for bringing
listen,
that up. I'm more than open to that, so.
from a council point of view, this is just one person's opinion. I'm all for, if we can open everything, we open it all, but we
Okay.
got to follow the guidelines set forth by the state and our representatives of the state. If they change their mind, I'll open that. I would recommend opening it up in 10 seconds. I got no problem with it. We
Sure.
just got to do what we got to do, because let's not forget, the borough gets funding from the state. And if we start doing things that we shouldn't be doing, that could jeopardize a whole lot of money outside of filling a swimming pool with food. And I totally get it. I'm all for it. Whoever said that we should feed them, I got it. I'm agreement. If we can do it legally, I'm all in.
So how, Steve, do you know for sure that we can't?
I knew for sure we
You have-
couldn't last year. I don't know for sure now. No, I don't.
Okay, so does that fall on, Dan, will you look into that, or how does that?
We can look into that,
Sounds-
yep. And that's
Right.
what I was trying to echo in years past, just what Steve said. Yeah, obviously, they know more about it than I do, but we were just not looking to mess with stuff with getting, the state involved where they, where that affects the
Sure.
borough funding and offering of crucial services, so.
Right, I can appreciate the difference.
I can
Sure.
probably get an easy answer to this question. Michelle Cobb, who is our Department of Ag Food Safety Inspector, I've worked with over the years on multiple different projects. I can reach out to her tomorrow and just say, hey, what are the actual state guidelines on snack bars at public pools, and see what answer I get.
Thank you, that's great, thank you.
Cool.
Nothing like a cinnamon roll or hot french fries at the pool.
All right. Anything else? Okay, we'll entertain a motion to close.
I'll make a motion.
All right. Thank you, Sally. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Thank you. See everybody next month.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Yeah.